Hi, everyone. Today we're going to do, it's weird to do it when you're sitting, but today we're going to do like a Scaffold-ETHv2 workshop. I hope my voice is good. But we're going to be building like a small application and approximately going to take us 40 minutes, especially like if you're participating in a hackathon coming up. I hope that it will be pretty useful. But yes, it will be like a 40-minute workshop where we go through Scaffold-ETHv2 and then kind of talk about the paths of what you can do moving forward. So we can directly get started. So first of all, what is Scaffold-ETH? First of all, who am I? So my name is Eda, and I'm part of Biddle. We are a developer community, and we build different tools and educational products for different, especially in the Ethereum ecosystem. So a lot of educational resources, content. It's basically like a developer DAO. And yeah, we kind of have like a lot of developers coming in through the content we put out, and then the starter kit, which I'm going to be talking about, Scaffold-ETHv2. But we also have like different products which people build, such as ABI Ninja, and different tools which we'll be talking about. Yeah, so my name's Eda. And what is Scaffold-ETH and Scaffold-ETHv2? It's a tool. It's in itself like not a product itself, but basically it incorporates different tools and allows you to build different products. So it allows you to like do rapid prototyping. So especially if you're like participating in hackathons, it can be really helpful. And I do hope that it will be interactive. So if you guys want to follow along, you're free to like open up your laptops and follow along the live coding as well. But we're going to be like kind of modifying the app and kind of going through that iterative loop of making changes to your smart contract and reflecting it to your front end. And yes, you're welcome to follow along if you would like to. So to dive a bit more into the stack itself, basically Scaffold-ETH uses, so it has like both a Next.js component, which is the front-end piece, and then it has the contracts. And you can basically have the smart contract piece in either Hardhat or Foundry. So when we create, like it will ask you when you're setting up your wizard, do you want to use like Hardhat or Foundry for your smart contract development toolkit? And then it uses WAGMI, Rainbow Kit, I said Next.js as well. And then it uses Daisy UI, which is like a Tailwind CSS component to kind of make it like a prettier interface. And we're going to be building all this. We're going to be showing it, but just wanted to give you like an overview of the tech stack. Okay, so this is all the slides I have actually. And we're directly going to be using the tool itself. But even before going to the tool, I kind of want to show you what you can do once you are like familiar with Scaffold-ETH. Is basically a set of challenges called Speedrun Ethereum. So you can directly go to speedrunethereum.com. We have different quests which use Scaffold-ETH as the base. So once you kind of learn the product, you can go ahead and you can build all these applications, such as like an NFT example, a staking app, a token vendor. It goes down to like building a multisig. So there are a lot of challenges which you can kind of take your coding skills to the next level with. For the demo today, we're just going to be making like a small change. So it's not like we're not really going to be talking about the functionality of what you can do with, about building different products, but more so just want to show you how you can use the tool. So then you have it in your pocket for the next hackathon. And yeah, I would highly suggest you to, like if there's one thing which I will be saying 10 times throughout this presentation, it will be speedrunethereum.com. Okay, so let's get to it. And I will sit down because I feel like if I do it standing up, I might do more mistakes than usual. Okay, so let's get to it. And just before we start, has anyone heard about Scaffold-ETH before or not really? I know Kevin has, Shutterblock has. Okay, so that's a good ratio. Perfect. So let's do it. And is anyone participating in the ETH Berlin hackathon as well? If there's, okay, no. Okay, one. That's good. Cool. So to go to Scaffold-ETH, you can, first of all, use GitHub as well. But I actually have, let me open GitHub. I have a follow along. Okay, this is the workshop which we're going to be doing today. So if you guys want to follow along, you're welcome to like open, I don't have a way to share the link, but I have a DappCon workshop, which I'll be adding and which we're going to be following today. Let me make it a bit bigger. But you can basically go to my GitHub if you want to, but we're going to be doing all the steps from zero. So yeah, I have like some cheat codes ready in case there's a mistake. Perfect. So the first thing you can do is you can Google Scaffold-ETH, and I have it open. You can open the GitHub, or we have like a landing page as well. It's basically like there was like an initial Scaffold-ETH version, but now there's Scaffold-ETH2, which basically uses like different flavors. Is the second iteration of the product, and let's do it. So you can go either way. We're going to use like the next npx create ETH command and follow it through the wizard. But before, like with the Scaffold-ETH, you could also like clone it, but I think this is always better. Cool, so let's open my terminal. And again, I'm going to be starting from scratch, so if anyone wants to follow along or ask questions on the way, please welcome to do so. But yeah, I just have over here my terminal, and I hope the internet is pretty good here, so let's cool. So I didn't do anything. I just created a folder, and now I'm going to do npx create ETH latest, which will get me like a starting wizard. And this will basically ask like, you kind of, let's go over here too. Let's go to the docs. We have quite nice docs. So you can go over here to the docs and kind of see what you need, like the installation. Basically what you need before you begin is node, yarn, and git. Once you have all these set up, you can then use the wizard or like the git clone command to get it up and running. And yes, I highly suggest like these give all the instructions as well. So we're just going to be following that. Okay, cool. So npx create ETH latest. I just run the command. Let's call it dApp. Not very creative. I'm going to do hard hats, but you can definitely choose like Foundry or none as well. But let's have hard hats so that we have like a smart contract development environment. And then I will install the packages which come. So then you can also just run yarn install afterwards. But yeah, this is basically setting my app, and I will directly show how it looks like once we get started before making any changes. It will not take very long, but it will take a few moments. So it's just installing like the dependencies, setting up our Git repo, and once we have the app, then we'll go ahead and like make some changes to our smart contract and see it directly reflect to our front end. So that's kind of the reason of using Scaffold-ETH. Like you can directly have changes to your smart contract automatically reflect to your front end. So then you don't need to spend more time on, you can quickly like have the tests up and ready. And yes, if this does not work very fast, I do have like a local one which I will use. But okay, perfect. It's actually pretty fast. So we have it up and running. Now, the first thing you need to do, and again, the docs kind of walk you through the environment setup as well. Once you do the environment, it gives you all the steps which you need to go through. But I'll just be talking about them. So we now have, like, we cloned our app. Let's actually look at how this looks like. I'm going to move this to like a new window over here. So I called it dApp, not very creative, but basically the two things which are important to me are inside the packages folder. So I have both my hard hat package, which is my smart contract development environment, and then I have my Next.js, which is basically like my application, and you have like the pages, the front end component over here, which directly talks to your smart contract. So we will walk through these two folders, but before that, let's just kind of look at what we just downloaded. Now, the first thing you need to do is you need to do a yarn chain. So this will start our, well, you first need to cd into your app, and then you need to do like a yarn chain. So this will start our local hard hat chain. So as you can see, like it generates like your accounts. So you don't need to like set up hard hat separately, but your accounts are automatically generated, and we're all doing this on localhost, so no real money involved for now. And then I open a second terminal. On the second terminal, I will do a yarn start. Now, I haven't deployed any of my contracts yet, so I just want to show you how the front end looks before we go ahead and deploy the smart contracts. Okay, cool. It's up on localhost. So let's go to localhost. Perfect. So this is what we just downloaded. We have over here, like it's a pretty nice like UI. We don't have any contracts yet, but so we haven't deployed any of our smart contracts. We did start our local hard hat chain, but we did not deploy any of our smart contracts yet. So that's what I'm going to do next. So I opened like a new terminal. Basically, the thing is now we have like 3 terminals, one for Yarn chain, which starts our local environment, one for Yarn start, which runs our app, and the second one we're going to do Yarn deploy, which will deploy our smart contracts to our local network. This is just like one command to run. Awesome. So we now have deployed our first smart contract. So as you can see, I come over here and I actually see some functions. So there's like the smart contract, there's the address, the balance, like the network it's on, and you can now, like by running like that simple command, we were able to deploy our smart contract quite fast. But let's see what this smart contract actually does, right? Like before going deeper. So I go into my hard hat folder, I go into my contracts, and there's your contract.sol. So this is a very basic smart contract, which the Scaffold-ETHv2 developers kind of created for us to have a boiler template to start with. Is this big enough? Shall I make it like zoom in? Okay, this is not the usual font size I use, but yeah, so this is like our basic smart contract. You can see kind of the details over here. You can see that it has like an address with like the owner. It has a string over here called building unstoppable apps, a boolean. It kind of teaches you about like the different variables you can have in Solidity. There's like an event, so it will show you, it automatically like allows you to kind of look through what Solidity events are. And then your constructor, then you have like a modifier. Basically what this smart contract does is it has a function called setGreeting, which, and then it has like a greeting variable saved. So you can change your greeting. It's not the most complex smart contract, but basically it stores a greeting and you are able to change the greeting. So for example, if I go back over here, where is it? So the current greeting is building unstoppable apps. I can basically go ahead and I can change this to building unstoppable apps in DappCon. And I can just make this transaction. Okay, but it didn't work because we don't have any money to pay for the transaction. Right now, like one thing which I did not mention is basically Scaffold-ETHv2 comes with burner wallets. So these are wallets which are stored within your browser. So you don't need to connect to MetaMask. You don't need to like have that extra connection. But the wallet is basically available to you out of the box. But right now I have 0 ETH in this wallet person. And if I open like a new incognito window and I open localhost, it will give me a new wallet person. So this is like a green person. This is a purple person. So every browser will automatically generate you a new burner wallet. So I'm going to grab some funds from the faucets. It has a built-in faucet which you can grab funds from. These are, again, all on your hard hat node. And you can grab as much as you want. So now I have 7 ETH on localhost. Nice. So now, because I have the money to pay for the transaction, I can actually change the greeting. So let's try. Okay, perfect. So as you can see, I just changed the greeting. I now have building unstoppable apps in DappCon. And the counter also increases. So we can do something else, like Berlin is cool. And then I can do this, and then hopefully my counter will also increase. So the smart contract basically keeps track of a counter, which is updated every time you update the greeting. And then you can be like, DappCon, send, the counter increases, or like Shutterblock, send, counter increases. And one thing which is different in Solidity, if you're coming from like another programming language, is that there are functions which are payable functions, which accept money. So unless a function is payable, so when I go over here and when I look at the set greeting, it's actually a public payable function. So payable means that you can send ETH inside the function. It accepts some kind of monetary value. And then what we kind of have in this function over here is we have a premium flag, which is changed if someone sends money into our function. This again is kind of to teach about the different intricacies, like the different things about Solidity as the payable function, as like, kind of updating your how you can get the value, like by message that value, you can actually understand how much money is sent to your function. So let's kind of try that. So let's do Eda, and with an exclamation mark. And then I'm going to send like 1 ETH to this contract, but I need to convert it to A. Okay, so when I do this, the premium flag should also become true, because now I'm actually making a transaction and I'm sending money. Because my function is a payable function, I'm allowed to do so. Okay, perfect. As you can see, the greeting is now Eda. Someone sent money, so the premium flag is set to true, and then the counter also increased. And you can see like now there's a balance in my smart contract, because I just sent 1 ETH. You can send more ETH to it, and you can do biddle and then I'll send 2. I have a lot. Awesome. Now we actually send like more money to our smart contract, and then we also like change the greeting. Okay, cool. So this is what comes out of the box. But now you might be like, okay, but what do I do now? So basically what you can do now is, and I will be cheating so that I don't I don't forget about saying anything, but we basically did these steps. Okay, what I'm going to be doing now is I want to update the owner. So as you can see, there's like an owner of this smart contract. When we deploy it, an owner comes. So we're going to make like some small tweaks to our smart contract so that you can actually have a function to change the owner of who owns the smart contract. And that's basically what we're going to be doing. And we're going to actually also be editing like this home page, because right now you kind of interact from the debug contracts tab, which comes out of the box. You don't need to build like any other interface for your user to interact with. But we're also going to be updating the home page so that you can kind of see how you can use like the functions with the Scaffold-ETH hooks. Okay, cool. So one thing which I always recommend is to go to soliditybyexample.org. This kind of gives you a lot of functions, a lot of like what you can do with Solidity. So for example, you have over here the variables, what kind of variables are there, constants, it has like mappings. It kind of shows you even more advanced stuff, such as reentrancy attacks, or like how you can accept ETH, for example, in your smart contract. But there's a lot going on in soliditybyexample.org. And basically I can come over here. For example, like this hello world just like has a greeting, but let's see what this first app does. Okay, this is just a counter. But for example, I can come over here and I can define like a Boolean, a uint, like different kind of, a mapping, for example. Let's actually, let's do something small here. I just want to add like one variable. Let's just copy this. Let's add this just to kind of see how you can do that. So I just come over here. I just like decide to add like a new string public text called hello. And then once I updated my smart contract, I need to redeploy my smart contract. Whenever you update your smart contract, you do need to redeploy it. And I'm just going to do a reset in case like it's saved somehow. So now basically I have like this new field, a new variable called hello, and it's directly reflected here. I did not do any change. It just comes over here. So this is like our debug contracts tab. Okay, perfect. So now that we have that, let's go ahead and let's actually like make a function to update the owner. And I kind of want to remove the stuff which is not needed. I am basically going to remove this. Okay, withdraw, let's leave this, but let's kind of delete this because it's making me confused when we have too much stuff which we don't need. I'm going to delete this. I don't want to met things, so I'm basically going to start from scratch. Okay, and let's just have that. Let's also delete these. Okay, cool. So we basically updated our smart contract. All we have now is it has an owner, and then there's a modifier called isOwner, and then it just has a withdraw function. So not a lot going on in our smart contract. I'm going to redeploy this, and then we're going to write like a function so that we can update the owner of this smart contract. Oops, I did something wrong. Okay. But this is like. Okay, let me leave this stuff for now because I think I delete something which I'm not to be deleting. Okay, I think that's used somewhere, so I won't be deleting that for now, but I will like directly add like an update owner. So I just wanted to add that to make it like less confusing, but that's okay. We can leave all this stuff. So, okay, now you can go to solidity-by-example.com to kind of see how it works. I also have GitHub Copilot, which helps me a lot. So I'm just going to write a function to, oops, not this much, to update the owner. Now there's one owner of the smart contract, which we saw on our front end as well. But let's say we want to change it, right? So when you want to change it, you kind of need like, you need a new way to change it. So I'm gonna write like update owner. And I'm not sure why my Copilot is not helping me right now, but that's okay. And it basically gave me a suggestion, but this is not what I want to do. I actually want to pass in an owner over here. And I want to make this function public, correct? That's correct. And then basically like the owner will be this new owner that I pass. Now it's giving me an error because the owner is actually immutatable. So I'm not able to update it. So I'm just going to simply remove the immutatable keyword from there. So now basically it's allowed to update. So this is basically a function. And the key here is that everyone can actually call it right now. So we will change, we will add a modifier over here because we don't want everyone to come in and change the owner. But it's just like a small function to update the owner, takes in an address, like the owner, and then it updates the owner of the smart contract to be this one. Cool. So let's redeploy it and let's actually see if I made any mistake or not. It's redeployed. Now there's like an update owner. So let's say I'm going to grab some funds from the faucets. Let's say I want to update the owner to be Vitalik.eth. So currently the owner is this address, 2266. I send this. Perfect. So someone came and updated. Now, you technically don't want anyone to come in and change the owner of your smart contract. So what we're going to do is we're actually going to pull in this modifier. A modifier is basically something you can use to check if your smart contract, it's like an if-else statement. You can think of it like that. But before even entering the function, if the modifier is true, it will only enter it. So I'm going to move this over here. Like I'm going to make it so that the update owner function is only available to the owner itself because we don't want everyone to come in and update it. So I just simply pull the modifier over here. Now only the owner. So if the owner is, if the person running the function is the owner, they can update it. Now you might be like, okay, but what is the owner of this contract, right? Because we just deployed it and we didn't even talk about the deploy scripts. So I'm going to go ahead and show you guys the deploy scripts. So I go into the deploy folder. Now there's a few folders which are important, which is mainly the contracts, the deploy scripts, and then we'll also talk about the front end piece. But when I go to the deploy scripts, I can see like there's quite a few comments to help you understand better who the deployers are. But when we deploy the smart contract, it's actually going to be like a deployer account, which is one of the hard hat accounts, which is pulled over here. Since we want to know who the owner is, I don't want it to be a random owner. I'm going to use my front end to be the owner of this contract. So let's say let's make this purple blue person the owner. I go over here. I simply just say the deployer will be this account. So I'm going ahead and editing my deployment script so that I can be the owner of the smart contract. As you can see, like the args passed in will be the owner. So when you come over here, you can see like the constructor takes in an owner. So now when we add it in our deployment script, we say the owner will be this address. Okay, so perfect. Now when we run it, hopefully this person will be the owner. Let's see if that's actually true. Okay, yes, 5181. Now we know who the owner is. So if I come here as this person, like the DB75, I should not be able to update the owner, right? Like let's say I want to make it Vitalik.eth. I send it. Okay, not the owner. So because the modifier kind of checks who the owner is, I'm not able to update it if I'm not the owner. So as you can see over here, the modifier displays a message called not the owner if it does not pass. And when I was making this transaction, because I made it from the incognito window, I was not the owner. But let's say I want to make it from here, Vitalik.eth, send. Okay, this passed because this person is the owner. Now, because now the current owner is Vitalik, I can't make a change actually. So if I just do it one more time, I want to update the owner to like Eda.eth, which is actually not my ENS. But let's say I want to, I will not be able to because now the owner is Vitalik, so only he can do it. Okay, but because it's on localhost, that's fine. Cool. So that is how you can add like a new function. Now let's see what we have next. Okay, we used the modifier. We updated the deployment scripts. Every time you make a change to your deployment script or your smart contract, you do need to do like a new yarn deploy. So once you do a yarn deploy, it will automatically generate the ABI for your smart contract, and then it goes over here. So your front end will basically understand that it's changed, and it will get like the new ABI. And I think it's actually under here. So as you can see, the contracts folder. So you have like the deployed contracts over here. So this will be updated every time you run yarn deploy. Cool. Now let's actually make a front end. So you basically probably don't want your users to interact from this tab because this tab kind of shows everything. So ideally, you would like build your own new page for that certain functionality. And that's basically what we're going to be doing today. And as someone who really does not enjoy building front ends, Scaffold-ETH makes it quite easier for you to build front ends to interact with. And that's what we're going to get to next. And I have exactly 32 minutes left, so we should have enough time to build a cute front end. Now, the page over here I need to go to is, up until now, we were all in the hard hat folder. Again, if you chose like Foundry when you were setting up your environment, you will have the folder named as Foundry. But because I chose hard hat, I see it as hard hat. Cool. So now I'm closing this package. Let's close this. Now I want to go to pages.tsx. So this is my main page. This is the page which we're going to be editing. I'm just going to like delete everything. And then let's see if not here. Okay, cool. This is our page. Not a lot going on. The debug contract still exists, by the way. So I'm going to make like a small card which allows the user to update the owner because we made changes to our smart contract, but you basically want your user to interact with your homepage. And this is especially like very interesting to me because Scaffold-ETH gives you like out-of-the-box components to allow you to interact. And the first thing I want to do is, for example, the connected address comes here. So let's kind of show the connected address to the user, right? Right now our page is blank, but I want to see who the address is connected here. And it's basically going to be the burner wallet. But let's do that. Connected. Okay, this GitHub Copilot is giving me something nice. I don't want to show this yet. I just want to show the connected address. So the connected address, okay. So my connected address, as you can see, is this. This is not very pretty. So I'm going to be using Scaffold-ETH hooks to make it like look better because yeah, for your user, you probably want to like do an ENS resolver. If the person has an ENS, you probably want to show the ENS address. Like maybe if they have an image, you want to show that. So we're going to be basically pulling in Scaffold-ETH to hooks to have it like a nicer interface. And I'm going to do this on the second line. Connected address, and then we add the address component. So the address component comes with Scaffold-ETH. As you can see, it was already here. GitHub Copilot automatically did it to me. And let's go back here. Cool. So you see, this is the top line is when you don't use the component. I mean, you can write it yourself, of course. But because Scaffold-ETH comes with like the out-of-box component to make it ready for you, now we can see like the image. If this person had an ENS, it would actually show their ENS. So this is one thing which I wanted to show. Now, even before getting to that, what we'll do is let's build a card. And I talked about Daisy UI. We use Daisy UI for the front end. It uses Tailwind CSS. So it's basically like a library for Tailwind CSS. Gives you like some components out of the box. So I go over here. You can have like an alert, art box, button, everything, bubble, whatever you want to. And I'm going to basically searching for a card. Oh, not CRAD, but card. I don't know what CRAD is. Okay, cool. So this Nike shoe, I'm gonna get the JSX component. I wanna kind of show this. So all I did was I went to daisy.ui.com. I chose whatever component I want. And now I'm going back to my homepage. I'm gonna delete this connected address now that we showed that off. I'm just gonna copy paste the shoe component. Now it's gonna show me like a Nike shoe on my webpage. Well, we don't want the shoe, but we do want the card component. So we're going to be editing this card component. Let me like delete the shoe. Bye-bye. Let's make this DappCon app. Cool. They made a joke over here. We're going to delete the joke. And we can delete this. We don't need this. All we want is a card component. Oh, yeah, cool. We have a card component over here. Not very entertaining, but we will do like nice stuff here. So what I want to do in my card component is I want to show both the connected address and then I want to read the owner from my smart contract. So first of all, let's pull in the connected address. The connected address we saw already. Not very interesting, I would guess. Now we see the connected address. You can go over here. The connected address is here. Now we're going to do one thing, which is show the owner, right? Like we want to see who the owner is. Now the way it kind of works is you can use WAGMI hooks, both for your use account as well. I think, yeah, this guy directly comes from WAGMI also. But we also have built-in Scaffold-ETHv2 hooks, which you can use to read from your smart contract. And I'm going to go ahead back to our docs, interacting with your smart contract. So we have all these in the Scaffold-ETHv2 docs. Basically, because we get the owner from the smart contract, you need to read that variable there. And by using use scaffold read contract, you can specify your contract name, what your contract name is, and the function you want to read, and if it takes any arguments. So we're directly going to be using this. I went to the docs. I looked at how you can read from your smart contract, since the owner is a variable which we won't be changing. I go over here, copy paste. I probably need to pull that in, import this. Okay, use scaffold contract read. Now we have that. We want the owner. We have no args to pass in, and then we want it to call owner. Perfect. So we basically pulled in our hook to read from my smart contract, and then we're going to be displaying who the owner is. And let's see if this works or if I am not correct. Owner address, and then this will be owner. Let's call this owner address to make it the same. Cool. So basically what we did over here is we needed to read from our smart contract. We passed in the smart contract. We use scaffold read contract hook, and it gives you the details over here, as you can see. It only takes like the contract name, the function. It doesn't have any arguments. We're just reading the variable, and it gets back our data. Let's see if it actually works. Cool. So the owner is Vitalik. So you can see Vitalik, and as you can see, because Vitalik has like a avatar, you actually can see the avatar as well. And then when you click it, it should actually take you to the block explorer. Now it's on localhost, so it will only show localhost, but whichever network you're on, it will actually direct you to that Etherscan. Perfect. This is going good so far, I hope. But now, so we did one thing. We were able to read from my smart contract. We also want to write to our smart contract. We did not show that because we created the function called update owner, which you can update the owner, but we did not show how you can interact with your, how you can make a change from this small avatar icon we made. So let's actually do that. So use scaffold read contract has a similar version, use scaffold write contract, which allows you to pass on data and actually make changes. And I'm going to go to the docs as well, because if I try to write it myself, I might make a mistake, but thankfully GitHub Copilot gets me usually. So it's called use scaffold write contract. It gives you the details over here and how you can use that too. And actually, even before that, let's kind of show what an address input looks like. So we use the address component to make it like a nice interface for displaying the address. There's also like an address input, which makes it like a nice place, it gives you a nice view to get an address as an input. And I'll be like, let's see, address input. And then I think it takes like, so let's call it, what do we want to call it? New address, and then, oh, sorry, no, this should be the value, right? I think we can do it like this. I probably need to import this. Okay, address input comes in. Let's see what we're missing. No, on change. On change, let's do like, do I need to do something there? On change, let's call it, okay, one moment. I'm just gonna get the address input from here. Address input. Okay, cool. I did not add it, so that's fine. So basically, okay, I will add the address input from, I think, my other. I think it should be like this. It will be like the owner address. And if it does not work, we'll find a way. And then we want to create like a new owner. And I'm going to call this new owner address. And then React should actually understand that we want that. And then it's called, okay, cool. So we probably need to import React as well. Yes, so we basically have like a new owner, and then we basically set it to a new owner, like React kind of allowed, like I think I'm doing something wrong over here, but that's okay. So the value will be the owner address, and then on change it will be like a new owner, but I'm having something wrong here. So we'll get back to the address component. On change, yeah. Yes, so I want like an umbrella function here, but so you're saying like this? Do I have the value wrong? Is it not value? Oh, the closing tag. Am I missing the closing tag? Something like this. Let's see if I. Okay, that's fine. We will fix this. I have a working code in the backend in case it doesn't work, but we're gonna fix this. So let's write the function to actually update like the owner, and I'm going to delete this for now. We're going to come back to the address input. I'm doing something wrong there, which I'm not sure what, but we basically added like this new owner address and then set new owner address, and we need to import like use scaffold write contract to actually be able to call this. So I'm going to go over here back to the Scaffold-ETHv2 docs, and I get this, and then in my button, in my on-click, I'm going to do this, right? That's probably our mistake. I go ahead, I pull in this, right? It's giving me because we did not import it yet. Let's import it from our hooks. Okay, now we have our use scaffold write contract. This allows us to basically make changes to our smart contract, so talk to it to like make some differences there. Because previously we were not doing that. And I'm gonna go over here. I get the button directly. This is a nice button, so I'm gonna copy this from here and we're going to make changes to it. I come back here. I put that here. Now the button, it doesn't take any value. It doesn't take any, it does take arguments, sorry. So this button, like it gives us the styling automatically out of the box. It has like an on-click action. It calls write your contract async. The function name will be update owner, right? If I'm not mistaken. Update owner, dun. The args we will pass will be, what did we just call it? New owner address. So the arg is going to be new owner address. Error setting new owner. If there's an error, this will be the error message which comes up. And then we will call it update owner. And then I'm doing something wrong here, but owner. I don't want to have this message, but cool. So this gives us a button. Let's see how this looks like. Okay. going back to my app. Perfect. But we did a crucial mistake because when I was doing it before, I forgot to add the address input. So you can update the input, update the owner, but now we don't have like something which we pass into it. So right, when we say like address is invalid, so let's go ahead and add that. And I'm gonna steal from over here a bit. Button primer, I'm doing something on here. Let's see, maybe GitHub Copilot will fill it for me. But let's ask for the input, new owner will be an address input. Oh. And then the value will actually be like owner. And then it should be on, is it on change? Sets, this should be correct, but oh, this is owner address, okay. Should we just delete this? But this is the value, so this should be, you want it to be like this? Oh, okay, yeah. So we basically, let's see if this works before. I think this should work. So basically now it will be like the new, like we will change the owner address, like we basically add this as an, we give it a new owner address, and then on change it will basically go over here, it will change our states, and then it will pass the new owner address into our button. Let's see, okay, cool. So we were doing like a mistake over there, but basically now we have this new owner, and I can be like Eda.eth, but I cannot do this because only Vitalik can, because only he is the owner. So this will actually give me an error. Yeah, not the owner. So let's quickly redeploy our smart contract. We have 17 minutes left, so we're good. Perfect. So we redeployed our smart contract. We did that. You can come over here. You can view the debug tab, which you still have access to. But as you can see, we built like a small, cute interface to directly interact with our application. And the owner is this person. The connected address is this person. And I can come over here and I can change the owner. So I can be like Eda, or I'm not going to make it Eda.eth because I'm actually not the owner of that. But I'm going to make it this person. So this DB75. And this person can't do it because they are not the owner. So the modifier will say you are not the owner, so you can't do it. But if I go over here and this person is actually the owner, I can do this. Update owner, transaction complete. Let's see who the owner is. The owner is now this person. I go over here to my incognito window. The incognito window is the owner. So I can be like, now I want to, let's actually make shutterblock.eth the owner. So I can update the owner. And there you go. So this was kind of like a mini app which you can build with Scaffold-ETH. It doesn't do anything crazy, and you probably would want to use like the ownable contract of your of OpenZeppelin when you, instead of like creating the ownership pattern yourself. And let's actually show how that works too, like quickly, since we have a bit more time. But when you go to your, now I'm gonna move back to the hard.pub folder. I go over here, your contracts. It's actually, I think here. You import the ownable from OpenZeppelin. It's here, so I do this. And then I think extends, oh, sorry, not extends, is ownable. So when you do this, you're basically, oh, I don't want to do that because, okay, we'll find a way. But basically, now I'm directly extending from OpenZeppelin's ownable smart contract. So once I do that, it will actually bring like a whole set of functions directly with it. So how should we call it? Like, let's call this, okay, let's show this because I think this is important. I'm gonna delete the ownership pattern we wrote. The owner, we will actually not take, like the constructor will be empty with this one. We will remove the modifier. Okay, we don't need this, removing the modifier. You see, so when you extend OpenZeppelin's smart contract, OpenZeppelin's contract, actually there is like an only owner function which comes with it. And I kind of want to show you guys that before we end. And since we have time, we can actually do that. Let's just delete this for now. So before we were doing all this ourselves, right? Like we created like an owner and a smart contract. We created like an update owner function, which updates the owner. But we did all that through like not really testing a lot. So with OpenZeppelin's ownable smart contracts, you can actually use smart contracts which have been tested and, you know, valid for these kind of reasons. You can inherit other contracts such as like an ERC20 if you want to like create your own token. You can do like an ERC721, etc. You can do all that. But I want to deploy this and I want to show you. Now, if I try to deploy this, it will give me an error because we did not change our deployment scripts. In our deploy scripts, originally it takes in a constructor address, but because we removed like the constructor is now empty, we should remove that from our deployment script, right? Like it takes the args. So we have no args. Cool. Now it should work, except for this because it, oh, I think this should work actually. And if it doesn't work, we'll just then circle back to it. Cool. So now let's see what our debug contracts tab comes with. You see, renounce ownership and transfer ownership. So when we directly extend OpenZeppelin smart contract, we actually get a lot of functions out of the box, such as these. So you can directly like have the ownership pattern available to you without having to write it yourself. And this is, of course, the better way to do it. And it's probably only the owner which can do it, which is this person. Yeah, so that's kind of how you can extend the OpenZeppelin smart contracts. Now I do have 10 minutes, so before we end, I do want to show speedrun Ethereum one more time. And now our packages is giving us an error, probably because in our front end, like we call the owner functions, but we deleted that from our contract, so that's why it's red right now. And a few things just to kind of reiterate is that the greatest things about, like the good things about using Scaffold-ETH is it comes out of the box, especially like if you're working on hackathons, it's pretty easy to get started. We actually built, like, I participated in like 4 hackathons with Scaffold-ETH, so it was fun. Didn't win anything, except for the last one, we won like $100. Not too much, but it was a nice hackathon. So what comes out of the box is the burner wallets. As you can see, I did not interact with MetaMask at all. It was pretty easy, pretty like fast moving to just use your burner wallet. We had an built-in faucet, which allowed us to get like money directly. So that's how I got this money. So I can do as much as I want. It's only like on localhost. So I am pretty rich in localhost ETH right now. I can see my faucet over here. I can see like the block explorer. The block explorer kind of shows you all the events, everything that happened, all the transactions. Yeah, and then debug contracts tab automatically comes out of the box. So let's say you're like, okay, this is great. I'm starting to use it. What can I do next? That is exactly where speedrun Ethereum comes in. Oh, not the builders page. So once you kind of go through Scaffold-ETH, you're like, okay, I'm good with this. Then you can head over to speedrunethereum.com to actually build like bigger products. So it starts off with like a simple NFT example where you build like an, and let's actually show this. So you build like a small app where you can create NFTs, randomly generate them. I don't exactly remember the context, but yeah, you can see like, you can have images, you can kind of create those NFTs. This website, like it kind of teaches you how to do that. And then you go back, you can build like a decentralized staking application where you kind of send money into like a smart contract. And then I think you can specify, you know, if there's like 5 ETH sent to it, then send it to this person, etc. So it teaches you that. Token vendor is pretty fun. So you build like a machine which you can buy tokens from and sell tokens to. So it's like you can think of it as like a Coca-Cola machine where you can buy Coca-Cola from, but also give back Coca-Cola. So a token vendor, and then a dice game. It teaches you about randomness, how you cannot achieve randomness by like simply calling random number generator and then building a deck so it gets like more crazier. And then you can go ahead and join Build Guild, come build with us. And there are a few other challenges which teach you about different things about both Solidity and why you can use Ethereum, what Ethereum is good for, as well as the coding part, so how you can build the smart contracts to do that. But yes, so I do have a 9 minutes and 36 seconds left. So if anyone has any questions, I'm happy to answer them. Or yeah, if we went through too fast and you want to double click on something, we can do that for the last few minutes. Okay, no questions. Deploy to a testnet. You're putting me on the spot for sure. So let's try and do that while we have a few more moments left. I'm gonna go over here. So that's actually a good question. Let's see if we can do that in 10 minutes. You think we can do that? I'm doubting myself, but we'll see. Okay, I redid the changes which we did because this is a really good question, and I do want to deploy to testnet. I don't know what the error is, but I think there is no error actually. I think this is just like, is my update owner not here? Oops, because we need to redeploy. So Kevin asked, what do we do if we want to deploy to a testnet? And I don't want to waste time on the smart contract, so I'm just going to remove update owner, and then we'll try and deploy to the testnet if we have enough time, right? So, oh, awesome. Thank you so much. Oh, no, but this is here, no? I did add it. Oh, we can just remove this button. Oh, but this button is not the error. Our smart contract is giving an error. We did not inherit. Let's try again and maybe actually read the error. Cool. Okay, there was no error actually. Something, I think, moved too fast without saving. But okay, so we did everything on localhost, which is obviously you might want to be like, okay, now I want to go to the live test, like not live, but testnets. Then you kind of, and I'm gonna go over here and I'm gonna cheat as well to see like how you can ship your app, because I don't remember the exact steps. But you basically need to change your network in the hard hat config, or if you're using Foundry, in the Foundry folder. So one other thing which we kind of touched upon is when you deploy the smart contract, it automatically takes in like a hard hat account. So you don't want to, you might want to be like, I want to generate like a new account and use that. So you can run like yarn generate. And let's actually try to do this. There's not too many steps over here, so I hope we can do this. So first step is to configure your network, and we're gonna go to the hardhat config.ts. Let's go there, hardhat, config, because I'm limited of time, I'm having issues. So the default network, you can change this. I think you can also change like the network. Oh, this is already configured. Okay, we don't need to change this, but what I'm going to do is I'm gonna use Scaffold-ETHv2. Okay, so the network, I think we can change it on our deployment script. I go over here to the deployment script. Do I change it here? Let's see which, okay. Oh, cool. We actually don't even need to change it there. You can just specify it on your command. I forgot about that. But you can also change like the default network. I sometimes do that for the ease of use. But when I actually want to, now this will probably not work because we don't have any money in our account. But you can do like a yarn deploy, network, and Scaffold-ETHv2. And it will deploy our contract to Scaffold-ETHv2. Now you might be like, okay, Eda, but it did not deploy it. Why did not deploy it? Because the account we're using does not have any ETH inside it, and you need some money to actually deploy the smart contract. So it says like funds for a transaction not enough. And let's do that. Let's actually like generate. Let's do a yarn generate. So all the steps are in the docs, by the way. So basically it tells you can run yarn generate to create like a random private key, and then you can do yarn account to see what that account is, and you can send Scaffold-ETH. So I'll do that, and maybe Kevin will be very helpful enough to send me some Scaffold-ETH because I don't have any. Now my private key is saved in that wallet. Now I do a yarn account. It will show me like a QR code. So this is the money I have in this like randomly generated account. I have no money. So let's see if once we have 4 minutes, so we can do this. Okay, cool. Let's do yarn account to see again if it came. These are the built-in networks, but if you're like, my network is not there, you can go ahead to the hard.config folder and you can edit it. Let's try one more time to see if it came. I think it's a bit slow. Okay, so we have one Sepolia-ETH. So I should be able to deploy this. And let's see if that's true or if I've or if it's not. So I do like a yarn deploy, -- network, Sepolia, dun. Perfect, it's deploying. I hope it will deploy. And then we can go to Sepolia scanner and actually check to see if it deployed. Perfect. So we deployed our smart contract. Now you might be like, but did you really deploy it? So let's go ahead and check that. Okay, let's just like not do this. Okay, I want to actually search for that. Okay, perfect. You can see it here. So we actually did do it. Does it show us? It was like a contract creation transaction. And this is the name of the contract which it made, like the transaction. Okay, now it's actually created. So which address created it? What is the transaction? So let's see like the contract. This is the contract that's created. Is this actually true? You might be like, yes, it ends with A5. So as you can see, we just created our contract. But you're like, okay, but this bytecode does not tell me anything. You probably want to verify this as well. We have that actually built in Scaffold-ETHv2. So all we did was we created an account, we funded it so that we can pay for our transaction, we deployed it to Sepolia, and now you want to verify your smart contract. I'm not sure if it will directly, it has a key here, but you cannot run yarn verify network, whichever network you're on, to verify your smart contract. Let's see what that does. Yarn verify network Sepolia, verifying. Taking a few moments. Okay, awesome. Your contract is now verified. So let's see if it actually is. Yes. Now the contract was automatically verified. As you can see, you can directly see our source code, blah, 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 consult like which it extends, the contract ABI, the creation code, etc. But the most important thing is probably your source, your contract source code. So now it's available over here. So what we did, like as you can see, we did it another like 7 minutes, deployed our contract to Sepolia, generated an account to actually deploy the contract from, sent that account some money, and then verified our smart contract. And that's all like quite fast. And we have inside Scaffold-ETH an Alchemy API key and an Etherscan API key, because you might be like, how were you able to like verify it so fast? Because we have the Etherscan API key there, but you're welcome to like, get your own key and change everything before you ship it. We won't be moving to the next step, but you can actually do like a yarn vercel and you can directly deploy your like app live. So if you're like, I want to ship it, I'm going to move fast, ship fast and break things, you can directly do like a yarn vercel and then automatically like send the app to be live. So that is, I think if I do like a yarn vercel, it will probably ask me for quite a few steps because I'm not sure if my GitHub is connected, but we can try. I have like 46 seconds. I'm actually not sure if this will work, but we'll see. No, okay, thank you, Kevin. Oh, okay, we actually deployed it quite fast. Let's see if this works. But it is faster than I imagined. Oh, okay, let's open my Brave browser to automatically authenticate. 0 seconds left. It's building. My timer is up. We should stop now. Perfect. But this is, yes, this will hopefully build. This is the end of the presentation. It takes a bit time. But as you can see, we were actually able to even ship the app. And yes, if we have a few more moments, we can leave the screen on. Otherwise, otherwise, this is the end. I hope. Yeah, thank you for coming. And if you remember one thing from this presentation, it should be like speedrunethereum.com. Yes, thanks again.